The good news is that major change is happening in our social service sector. There is a seismic shift that is going on that is beginning to crack the foundations of the way we have been doing charity now for centuries. Every once in a while in history, an event will trigger a seismic change, a sea change, as they say. One of those happened back in the mid-1850s. There was a medical practice that had been considered good medicine for more than 4,000 years. Started in the Mesopotamian culture, went up through the Egyptian culture, into Greece and Europe. It was a practice called bloodletting. And the theory was this: it's bad blood that causes disease, all manner of diseases, from a cold to cancer. And the theory was that bad blood settles in the extremities, and that bad blood causes all of these diseases. And so the way to get rid of the disease is to let that bad blood out, to purge it. And that, of course, was considered life-saving medical treatment. As a matter of fact, our first president, George Washington, came down with a bad throat infection, and he said to his physician, you better bleed me a lot, doc. It's pretty bad. And his doctor bled him a lot, several pints. And within 3 days, George was dead. Now, history does not record that George was the victim of malpractice. It says that he was the victim of a throat infection. We have no idea back through history the number of lives that have been lost because of malpractice that was considered good medicine. Well, this young scientist by the name of Louis Pasteur was experimenting in his lab, and he discovered something that was a game changer. He discovered that it was germs and not bad blood that was causing disease. And by the way, bad blood doesn't accumulate in the extremities. We've got a circulation system. And so young Louis Pasteur wrote his papers and announced to the medical profession this whole game-changing insight. And it was soundly rejected for 3 generations of physicians. What physician would want to admit that his time-honored practice was actually malpractice? And so bloodletting persisted on up into the 1900s. As a matter of fact, the last medical text that I was able to find that still endorsed bloodletting was copyrighted in 1946. Have you ever noticed outside of a barber shop that pole, that red and white pole that they have out there, goes around? There historically have been 2 professions that did bloodletting: surgeons and barbers. And that barber's pole said, we do bloodletting in here. So it's not too far from this kind of history that we're living now. My point is that was a game changer. It totally changed the way a 4,000-year time-honored medical practice exposed it as not helpful and maybe harmful. And it took at least 2 generations before the medical profession accepted it. When change comes upon us, and I believe we are in one of those moments of change, when the way we have been doing charity has been, the searchlight of research has been shined on it to expose this may not be helping. As a matter of fact, this may be hurting. This might be toxic. When that searchlight has exposed it, we can't expect all of us good well-meaning, service-oriented people to rush to that new paradigm. We've got an awful lot invested in it. We've got a lot of emotion invested in it. We can give you lots of case histories of how it has helped people. And yet we're discovering that it is an virtually unexamined industry.